So last week, of course, we had the Xbox Series X. I guess it's basically just the Xbox, but this is the Series X version of the Xbox. The naming's still kind of strange and still kind of settling in, but we, of course, had the first system in that line unveiled last week, and it's been making the rounds online, and if there's one thing you can count on the internet to do, it is to put out a ton of memes about something that just takes the internet by storm. And certainly the new Xbox that's coming out holiday next year, so a year from now, coming out, has, the shape is definitely set up for memes, and everyone's getting in on the action. And you know what? We're to the point now where they're just too powerful, like straight up, because now websites that are doing reporting on different events in gaming, well, they're taking it serious. We're to the point now where the memes are so powerful, they are being tricked into believing that a PlayStation 5 that's coming up could look like a fridge. It is some impressive stuff. But I'll show you what I mean. First, though, let's go over some of the memes that are kind of, I guess, up there in quality. And this, thegamer.com actually went through and cataloged a bunch of them and put them together. And I'll leave a link down below if you want to check that out. But here we go with Wendys, of course, getting in on the action. Now, Wendys will, of course, they will just roast people outright sometimes, and they'll have some funny responses to people. But they do basically build a sandwich that is to mock the Xbox Series X's shape, which is a large tower PC-like silhouette, almost like you look at it and it looked like a PC when we first saw it, but Dave's Series X, and it is just a large stack of several burger patties. Clever by Wendys there, 10 patties of fresh, never frozen Canadian beef. This is our dream. And you know what? If they do introduce that to their menu, like straight up, even if it's for like a week or something, I don't know how much that sandwich would cost. I bet you that would go viral online for the time that it's available on their menu, but obviously this is just a joke. I don't think that'll happen, but Wendys could surprise me on that one. And then, of course, we have the GameCube Comparison, and that's from Levy. The GameCube Comparison is always something that comes up as how many GameCubes taped together is this, right? That's how, because at one point we kind of talked about the Wii and the Wii U in that sense, specifically the Wii U, because it was using a similar CPU, but there was, a tri-core, so they're like, oh, it's 3 GameCubes taped together, right? That was always something that came up. They just made the GameCube like straight up on it. There was another one I saw that stacked them, and if they just put a little duct tape around it, that would have been really, really good. And I really like this one. This one's great, from Mark, where you see Mankind and the Undertaker on top, like to be from like the cage match they had where he threw him off of there and hit the table, saying, remember in the Attitude Era when Undertaker threw Mankind off the top of the Xbox Series X. I mean, seriously, I almost wonder if Microsoft introduced the Xbox Series X and its shape, just like they just created it for the memes. I know they say it was for the power, and the form factor was designed to accommodate what they were going for, but my gosh, some of these are just top quality, and a lot of it has to do with its shape, which, if you really consider what we're used to with some of these boxes, I mean, it is pretty ridiculous to look at. Now, I want you to take a look at this, because this is going to lead into what the website got tricked into, which is still kind of mind-blowing with it. Windows Central Gaming. And if you look at the Xbox Series X, specifically the one they've introduced, because there'll probably be a Series S and it could look different. I even thought about it, instead of it being shorter, it could actually be thinner if they remove that disk drive. But when we get to that point, we'll talk a bit about that. But a fridge. Yes, the Xbox Series X looks exactly like a refrigerator. I think there was only one missed opportunity. If the disk drive was higher up, it would have been perfect. Like, that's the only problem I see, because then the handle's at the bottom there, but disk drive was at the top, and they moved that Xbox symbol to the right, so you had that in the top right corner, and then the disk drive slot at the top left. That would have been the perfect, I mean, just the absolute perfect image of a refrigerator. But then we also have, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger from Commando with Phil Spencer and kind of the Xbox Series X there. That's another good one. And then, of course, it does look like a building, so they just make it into a skyscraper. Again, that shape just works. It just works for everything. I almost wonder if the PlayStation 5 is going to be this meme worthy. I don't think it will be. I don't think it's possible at this point. And then this one was good, the real purpose for the Xbox Series X to hold up, of course, the table that will then hold the PlayStation 5. And I do wonder, I've seen the PS5 dev kit, of course, we all have, and I'm starting to wonder if because of how radically like just how different the Xbox Series X looks from what we're used to. I mean, I know it's a PC, but if you put it next to most consoles, it's strange looking. I wonder if that PlayStation 5 really will look like most consoles, like that, just like a rectangle shape, or they really will go closer to that dev kit. That would be so strange if it had a weird shape like that. But I mean, you never know. They could do something like that. Now, I brought up the image of that fridge and wanted you to keep that in mind, because a website got a little carried away with something that Daniel Ahmed tweeted, and it actually became an article. Now, this was right around the time we had the Xbox Series X unveiled. Of course, people were messing around, and they were showing a lot of those images that I just showed you there. But the memes became so powerful. I think there was just this line that was kind of being blurred, at least for this website, because as you can see here, in the wake of the Series X unveiling, gamers and fans trolled the design of Microsoft's next-generation gaming console. Some Twitter users compared the design of the Xbox Series X to different household items like a refrigerator, cabinet, public ashtray, a trash can, and a lot more. But reliable tipster ZugX, or Daniel Ahmed, who has been providing reliable information about PlayStation 5, shared a tweet that surprised the gaming community. So consider where we are right now at this. All right, so Daniel Ahmed is very reliable for a lot of rumors that get out there. I think a lot of times he gets a press release and he'll kind of allude to it or talk about it. Remember, he was the one that kind of put out there, RE3 might not be the Game Awards, maybe a different event before the Game Awards. Here comes State of Play, and there's Resident Evil 3. That's part of Project Resistance. So even very recently, he's been on the ball with that. But he really does. He loves to kind of post different memes and just makes fun of stuff. He makes some jokes that are pretty funny, and of course, people will kind of try to figure out, is he being serious here? Or I think it's usually pretty obvious. So consider that for a second. And then I want you to look at a tweet that we're about to scroll down to, and you tell me which way this goes, if it's a joke or a legitimate leak. So here it is. I know a lot of people were making fun of the Xbox Series X design because of how different it is compared to prior consoles, but it turns out the PS5 will use a similar design as this leaked render shows. So take a look at this for a second. We have the Xbox Series X on the left, and we have the PlayStation 5 on the right. Yep, the PS5 is going to look like a straight-up refrigerator, like more so than the Xbox Series X. Obviously, this is a joke. However, they are they took it pretty seriously. I was a little surprised, as well as Daniel Ahmed was, which we'll go over in a second. They said we could not verify the veracity of this image, but ZugX has been a good source of information, particularly about the things related to the gaming industry. At the time of this publication, Sony has not revealed the specific release date of the PlayStation 5 or its retail price. The Japanese console maker has not yet revealed when it is going to launch the PS5. Well, they said holiday. They've said next holiday as well. So both console manufacturers are on track for a holiday 2020 release. We're just waiting for a release date for either of them. But yes, they took this tweet, one that I looked at and said, when I was scrolling past it, I saw it and I said, oh, okay, that's pretty funny. And I just kept moving on, right? Because I'm looking at all these memes and jokes are popping up about the Series X. It was so strange to see this website post about this and take it so seriously, and I will give them credit. They did not take it down. They left it up, and then they updated it, because they do have an update here. ZugX has clarified in a tweet that his earlier tweet on which the story was based was a joke. We regret the error. So at least they didn't take it down. They just put an update and they said, oh, we might have messed up on that one. In fact, you know what? Daniel Ahmed may be in the running right now for the tweet of the year that the Game Awards will have to look at for gaming, because it's got an immense amount of interaction, and it is pretty funny, because he goes over and says it's an image of a fridge. I added a fridge next to the Xbox Series X and called it the PS5. It was a joke. But again, the International Business Times, again, I'll give them credit. They left everything up. They could have just deleted the whole page and been done with it. Although I guess Internet Archives takes a snapshot of it, and then people can still go back and look at it. However, they left it up, and it's an error on their part, and they updated it and took responsibility for all of that. Sure, that's fine. It just shows how powerful these Xbox Series X memes really are, and we'll see what happens with the PlayStation 5. Hopefully, it's as good as the Xbox Series X when it comes to making fun of it next to apparently just regular household items. However, we have seen some making fun of the dev kit, making it look like a vacuum cleaner head and all this, but I'll be curious to see what the PS5 looks like if the Series X has to look like this for the amount of power that it's packing. But let me know what you guys think about the Xbox Series X and some of the jokes online about this thing. It was interesting. We got to a point where a website couldn't even tell the difference between it, but I mean, the Series X, while it's a very basic design, if you really look at it and think about how it looks, it still is ridiculous in the console space. So, I mean, at this point, I guess the line between joke and reality is becoming a bit blurred for a lot of places. Let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure to like the video on the way out if you enjoyed it. Dislike it if not, and I'll see you guys next time.